All right, in the meantime, let's bring on board James Hughes, who's the senior market analyst of Alpari, joins in on the show to walk us through what trade is likely to be across the globe. You've got a flatter start for most of the European indices, James, with falls in the Spanish market on concerns about whether they could implement that harsh spending cut which is needed for the economy. What's your sense as to how we are likely to see trade pan out?
Yeah, well, I think we've had some movements this morning, and we've had some numbers this morning as well. And it's been a bit of a mixed start, if I'm honest. We've also obviously had those worries about Spain and Italy, of course, and comments from Mario Monti in Italy, which have caused the markets to be a little bit worried again. I think there's always this feeling once we get through some part of this eurozone crisis that then everything's going to be okay and that everything's going to be back to normal again. But of course, that's not the truth. We had Greece. That problem may have gone away for the time being, but of course we then have to remember we have these other countries which are still struggling. So I think that's one of the reasons we're mixed. We had those German IFO numbers which were slightly better than expected, so that's helping to buck the trend a little bit, but still we're pretty mixed this morning.
James, what also people will certainly be watching out for is the EU finance ministers meet for that decision on a combined rescue fund to the tune of 700 billion euros in Copenhagen. What's your assessment as to how that's likely to pan out?
Well, I think the problem is everyone's a little bit sceptical about how these work and how these meetings go ahead of finance ministers. We've seen so many meetings of finance ministers in the past, and they haven't necessarily given us too much in the way of resolutions when they do meet. They tend to talk and then not give us anything really to get hold of after that. And I think that's the feeling. The scepticism does go around yet again that nothing's going to be agreed, and of course that the problem still remains pretty much at large. So I think although it's a good step that they are meeting, I don't think it's necessarily going to give us anything too concrete that we can get our teeth into and anything that's going to give the markets a big move.
James Hughes, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much for joining in and giving us that perspective on the global markets. Meantime, back home.